Next on the hit list is one of my favourite aspects of Wing Chun, and its training are the weapons. The two traditional weapons of Wing Chun are the 6.5-inch pole, point pole, sorry, and also the butterfly swords. Now, I must admit, I'll put my hand up here and says I am blatant, unbiased and unashamed proponent of the butterfly swords, as you are here, as you can see here. But the dragon pole form is very useful as it teaches coordination, and it's part of the rich history of Wing Chun, and very effective. And I suggest it's well taught because it teaches you coordination. It teaches you the principles of Wing Chun as applied to the weapon. But which leads me to the butterfly swords, which is why I like them the most, is that they actually work as extensions of your hands during the Wing Chun system and part of its philosophy. I've actually competed in tournaments with a fellow student of mine many years ago, where I was the butterfly sword proponent, and he was fighting me with the dragon pole, and we fought it out. And it was a demonstration that we put on in terms of a national all-styles tournament, and we were novices at the time, and we ended up winning the black belt first place because of our interpretation of the events regarding the swords and the dragon pole. And as you'll see, that the swords, like I said, extensions of the system, whatever form, hand forms and movements that you learn through Wing Chun, they're extended to the swords, and gives you like a greater understanding and probably a different perspective of Wing Chun. And it does help you with the conditioning, strengthening the arms, having your forms, and hand movements move a lot more crisp as you move them through the air, because what happens is when you're using the swords and even the pole, you need to be more precise with your hand movements. So once you learn and become fairly proficient with the weapons, you'll find that your forms and your other techniques become that much more sharper, because you appreciate the difficulty of the weapons and how they really apply in different various situations. So learning the weapons is not only an integral part of the system, but a massive benefit. And we come over into this old chestnut, the wooden dummy. Now, if anyone ever trained in Wing Chun, they're very well versed of the wooden dummy here, and it's 108 moves. Some other schools have a few more moves, but I've been taught on the 108. And this wooden dummy here is, I've said it before, you're either your best friend or your worst enemy. But what you understand is everything that you'll learn from Wing Chun is, as you see it in this picture here, can be applied to this dummy, and all your training can be drilled and learnt and improved based on the dummy. You can go online and look for different designs of how to make one yourself. The only thing is, the back bracketing is that needs to be stable. Now, the beauty of the wooden dummy is that it helps you with not only the movements and the forms and conditioning your hands, but it teaches you, like we've discussed, entries, how to enter into your opponent at the safe distance, chi sao, manipulating the two top arms up there, how to use that during your Wing Chun chi sao training, how to get that feel right. Probably not applicable to do while weapons. You don't want to be balancing this thing with swords or poles, but even close quarter fighting, where you need to be positioned to be the most effective, so you're not directly face to face or front on with your opponent, where you leave yourself exposed. What are the different angles to be positioned at, and so forth, where to put your block for your pakso, and how to strike simultaneously. Out of this simple wooden log with a few arms and legs, conceptually sticking out, the whole system can be taught, learned, and perfected. And indeed, if you're a serious practitioner, I'd suggest you get your own wooden dummy, practice, because if you don't have any around or a regular training partner, this is your new best friend, and it will serve you well for many years to come. One of my favourite techniques and training tools by far is the wooden dummy, because it can outlast you and keep on going. So listen to what we learned there as well.